My husband, Kevin, has mercury fillings, or rather had mercury fillings, also known as amalgam. And when we first met, I was pretty concerned about it. So we chatted with a couple dentists and they all said, don't touch them. Don't worry about it. He won't have high mercury because of it. Just leave it alone. It'll cause more damage if you address the situation as opposed to just leave it alone. So for many, many years, we didn't bother. Until I was doing some research on Kevin's eyesight because it's been getting progressively worse for a long time. And turns out one of the leading causes of constant eyesight getting worse is, you guessed it, mercury fillings. So we did a little bit more research and wanted to get his mercury tested because that's usually what you want to do to find out if you have an issue, get it tested and see what's up. Now, convincing your doctor to run a mercury test when you have no real reason, quote unquote, what the doctor said, to test mercury can be really, really challenging. We had to do 3 different appointments with 3 different doctors trying to convince them to run a mercury test for my husband. Finally, we found one who would. We tested his mercury. Sure enough, it was so high. So this started us down the path of figuring out how to remove his mercury fillings. Now, mercury, you're thinking maybe it's not so bad, but actually it kind of is. Mercury can poison your cells, affect the mitochondria, which will influence your energy output. It can lead to fibromyalgia, depression, obesity, dementia, cancer, heart failure, you name it, and even eyesight problems, which is what got us into this issue in the first place. So given how challenging it was to convince a bunch of doctors to run the mercury test that Kevin required, I started doing some research and I found Everlywell, which is an at-home testing collection service. And they have a test called Heavy Metals Test, which tests for arsenic, mercury, cadmium, bromine, selenium, iodine, and urinary creatinine. So you order the kit, it shows up at your door, and this is specifically a urine test. So we collected his samples in the morning and in the evening, and all we had to do was dip some test strips in the samples and then send them in the mail. So when you get your kit, you register it online, you set up an account. So when you send it in the mail, when the results come in, they get uploaded to your account. It's totally mind-blowing. Throughout the whole process, I was just blown away that this technology exists and really puts power and control into the consumer's hands so that you can do your own tests and you don't have to beg your doctor for the care that you need. So the results are delivered to you on the Everlywell platform in just days, and they're very easy to understand. You don't need a PhD to interpret the results, which I know is so important to so many of you. So we were able to confirm that his mercury levels were high also in his urine. And now we've been doing multiple heavy metals tests throughout his process as we removed half of his fillings. And now that he's on a detoxification program, and before we remove his next set of fillings, and then months following his last removal. I'm super pumped about Everlywell, and if you're just looking for an awesome at-home collection service and you're racking your brain over trying to figure out how to test yourself that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, head on over to healthfulpursuit.com/well and use the coupon code KETO, that's KETO, all in caps, for 15% off your order. Now this applies for any of the tests on their site. Again, it's healthfulpursuit.com/well and use the coupon code KETO, all in caps, for 15% off your order. They don't just have heavy metal testing, but all sorts of women's health, cholesterol and lipids, thyroid, metabolism, omega-3, women's fertility, and so much more. And they're all collected at your home. It's just mind-blowing stuff. And if you end up getting yourself tested with heavy metals through Everlywell, send me a quick message on Instagram at Healthful Pursuit, and I'll send you the mercury chelation plan that I've placed Kevin on and we've had a lot of success with. Again, for the 15% savings, you can head on over to healthfulpursuit.com/well and use the coupon code KETO, all in caps. Hey you, it's Leanne from Healthful Pursuit, and this is another mini-sode of the Keto Diet Podcast. You can grab today's podcast extra, which includes a transcript and everything we chatted about today, by heading on over to healthfulpursuit.com/x16. Today, I wanted to chat about all the things I hate about my body, all the negative thoughts that I have, and a way that I'm working through these things so that I can finally not think about these things. And I wanted to chat about this topic because I brought it up on Instagram a little while ago and it really resonated with a bunch of you. And I figured there are a lot of people that listen to the podcast that don't follow me on Instagram. BT dubs, you should. You can find me at Healthful Pursuit. It's easy. You can find me, or even just search Keto Diet. You'll probably find me that way. So if you're on Instagram, definitely check me out. But I just wanted to chat with you guys about this post and kind of go into more details about it. So a lot of the stories I tell myself, or rather told myself about my body, say 2 years ago, was that I'm weak or I'm fat, or when it came to me working out or not working out, I would say I'm unmotivated. And then as I healed my body and I started appreciating it a little bit more, then it translated into my work of like, I'm unsuccessful, I'm not good enough. And I'm sure that you've said some or all of these things to yourself. And I have for a long time. I do remember what it was like to not care about my body and to just be this free-spirited child. I was probably 6. But from 6 to like 32 years old, I didn't really love myself or appreciate my body or what I had to give to the world. And I hadn't really figured that out yet. I feel like I'm closer now than I was 2 years ago. I'm sure when I look back and when I'm 60, I'm going to be like, dang, I didn't know anything in my mid 30s, but I've really been quite a negative person. Not only to my body, but also just to life. When people meet me or I interact with people or my writing style, I'm quite a happy, bubbly person, but I do deal with a lot of negativity and I do sometimes see the world in a very negative light and I get really down on myself. And I think that this is completely normal for us to feel this way when it comes to us perceiving the world a little bit differently than what's actually happening. And so I've really been trying to get better at this and realizing before it creeps up. And it does. It creeps up time to time, especially when I wear something like dresses that I don't think I should be wearing, or when I put something out there, like I'm sure I'm working on my next book and already I'm starting to deal with a lot of, oh, this isn't going to be as good and people are going to hate it and people are not going to buy your first book because the second book sucks and the recipes are too simple. Nobody's going to like this. And the concept is a little bit different. Everyone's going to hate it. And all those things that come up that just stop us from doing the things we want to do because we're so afraid of what other people are going to think. I'm so much more confident than I was even just a few months ago, but it takes time and it's challenging and you're going to have setbacks. And, I wore a sundress for an entire day and I didn't think about my body. And that was like, oh, the clouds parted, the angels sang. And really, maybe you're wondering like, what changed for you? What was that thing? I think, and I don't remember who created this quote and I wish I could. So if you know who created this quote, please share this on Instagram and tag me so that I know who actually said this. It was the moment that I realized that my body wasn't the masterpiece, which is how I used it all the time of like, my body is my masterpiece. That's why I'm here, to build muscles and be thin and do all these things and improve it. I realized that my body wasn't the masterpiece, but rather a paintbrush to design the masterpiece that is my life. And so now I'm seeing my body as being this paintbrush that allows me to create my masterpiece out there. And that this body is just this shell that allows me to experience this masterpiece that I'm creating out there. Also, if saying these nasty things to ourselves would have worked and motivated us to be better humans and go to the gym and do all the things, we would have gotten there already. Like, I would be an Olympian right now if those nasty things actually motivated us to be quote unquote better humans. So instead, I'd like to encourage you to try something a little bit different. Next time you catch yourself being down on your physical appearance, try reframing it to, I am enough, I am worthy of love, and I am more than my body. You can silence your inner critic and connect to the truth by doing this. So anytime you're feeling that negative thought about your body, step back and repeat, I am enough, I am worthy of love, I am more than my body. Okay, that's today's mini-sode. I will see you guys on Sunday. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Keto Diet Podcast. Join us again next Sunday to discover more Keto for Women secrets for your fat-fueled life. The Keto Diet Podcast, including show notes and links, provides information in respect to healthy living, recipes, nutrition, and diet, and is intended for informational purposes only. The information provided is not a substitute for medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, nor is it to be confused as such. We cannot guarantee that the information provided on the Keto Diet podcasts reflects the most up-to-date medical research. Information is provided without any representations or warranties of any kind. Please consult a qualified physician for medical advice, and always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding your health and nutrition program.